It's the first of the month, so Rogue Sounds is next with our monthly sampling of live music events in the area. Music critic and performer Josh Gross curates the list, and he joins JX host Jeffrey Riley with a peek at what's ahead.
Josh Gross, welcome back to the Jefferson Exchange. You a little tired from your summer road trip with Puppeteers for Fears?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just woke up as you said that. I was just done.
So that's a yes.
Yes, yeah.
But a rewarding trip, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, man. We got to play pretty much every dream venue on the West Coast, I think. At least for me personally. But we played on a stage Limp Bizkit played on. Can you believe that?
That's really exciting stuff. Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time to put another list together for us and give us another edition of Rogue Sounds, which begins with Modern Natives, and this is actually a two event set because there'll be a Johnny B's in Medford on the 8th of September and the Hall in Grants Pass on the 9th of September. So let's hear from Modern Natives.
Do we scream or do we bite our tongues when the world is laughing in our face? A disgrace or a person who is healing? You tell me, 'cause this is now your story. And you feel the tension that you can't explain, but it was right there all along. So take your time and crawl out of the hole you fell into. We will be just fine. Draw the line. You will find a way to go about it. Please just take the time.
Okay, I could really dance to that one.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yes, that is the goal. So Modern Natives kind of splits the time between Florida and Alaska when they're not on the road. And, I always say, I think when choosing what shows to go listen to or I always try to, what are perspectives I don't have? And I mean, first off, Florida and Alaska are both, worlds unto themselves. And any band coming out of either of those things is definitely going to have a perspective that you may not have encountered before. So it's very hard to tour out of Alaska specifically. So it's, whenever you see a band that's coming down from Alaska, I always recommend going to see them because, again, it's almost like a foreign country and you may not know when you get another chance to see them. So, take the opportunity. But I think also, it cannot be understated what major contributions Native Americans have made to the history of rock and roll. It brings such interesting perspectives and sort of outsider visions, which is just what a lot of the art form is based on, going all the way back to Link Ray being the first one to sort of invent the, distortion guitar, and I just see that, to me, this is a group primarily native-led, coming out of, Alaska is this is going to be some interesting stuff. So I'm pretty excited about this. And I think, the whole 2-day swing through the Rogue Valley is actually great because it sort of allows you to pick up fans along the way as they, see, or let the first show mark the second or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Modern Natives is a really literal term then.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a mixed group, but it's, as I understand it, led by Native Americans.
All right. So that is Johnny B's in Medford on the 8th of September and the Hall in Grants Pass on the 9th of September. We move on now to another act called King Dream coming to the Dip in Reading on September 8th.
Spend too much time with the keyboard and mouse. Should have been writing songs to get inside them on the south side. Didn't work hard enough. The wars I waged on the TV, I'm drinking myself to sleep. Till 1 p.m. thinking I got a problem. The days I'm losing track. But now I'm 4 years older and my heart's still cold and light. First world problem.
It is a lovely mix. It actually obscured some of the vocals, which when I looked up were quite poetic. While wars are waged on the TV, I'm drinking myself to sleep. Stay in bed till 1 p.m. thinking I got a problem. The days I'm losing track. Now I'm 4 years older. My heart is colder and black. First world problem blues. This is some good stuff from King Dream.
It is good stuff, but they also come from a school of music that, thinks that the vocals shouldn't necessarily be the sole lead instrument, that they're just sort of part of a tapestry or a collage of different things, even if it's the thing that most people can identify with. And I think one of the things that I really like about this group and that kind of identifies is that there is a real distinction between, like, composition and arrangement. And composition is basically like, what is the melody, what are the lyrics, as you described, which are quite good, and but they're really, a lot of these are sort of simple 3-chord strummers, like they're not super complicated from a composition perspective, but the arrangements are so layered and dense and with so many different tones and kind of stuff that it really brings out all these qualities in the music that wouldn't be there under anyone else. So like any other band playing the same songs would not sound the same. And I think that's, really like that's the special sauce. Is when, it's like anyone could play the song, but only they can play it this way. And I think you can hear a lot of that in these guys. And, so that sort of, that special stew of different ingredients that they're bringing to the songs.
Well, that's actually, I've never even stopped to think about that before, the idea that it's a conscious decision to say, okay, yeah, vocals are there, but they are not the only thing. Therefore, they take their place in line with some other stuff.
It's kind of like taken for granted within, pop music that it's all about the vocals and that's the primary instrument. But within, a lot of rock subgenres or things, sometimes they just get pulled a little further back in the mix, or they, focus on using them as like a repeating motif rather than necessarily like a narrative story. You see that a lot in things that have elements of psych rock and psychedelic rock, which, King Dream is pulling a bit from, and also an element of, electronic music and trance, which, seems to do some similar stuff. But, it is a sort of like more modern or underground convention. But, I think it's really interesting because it allows you to sort of experience more from it than just getting, sort of lost in whatever that particular story is. Sometimes the lyrics aren't good. Sometimes it helps that you focus on other stuff. These guys are good. Maybe they should be a little louder in the mix. I don't know. But I think it sounds pretty good as it is. So I think they're on the right track.
Josh Gross is with us once again with Rogue Sounds here on the Jefferson Exchange. We just heard from King Dream coming to the Dip in Reading on September 8th. We move on to Marty O'Reilly coming to Fry Family Farm in Medford on September 9th. I could have listened to just the violin all day, and then they added more stuff that made it even more interesting.
Yeah, interestingly, working along some sort of similar themes as King Dream, and that just sort of creating a rich tapestry of sounds that gets you kind of lost in, that sort of like trance-like element, but working a little more acoustic than electric. I think Marty O'Reilly's, his stuff is so engaging. It's like, I think of it like, if I were like walking through the woods late at night and off in the distance I saw like a little like kind of light and like a sound, I feel like this is what I would be walking towards. It's just this sort of that, and you'd find this guy playing in a tin shack around a campfire, and then the next day you might not even be sure that it actually happened. Like maybe you just,
I get it. I totally do get that. Yeah, absolutely. So that's Marty O'Reilly coming to Fry Family and Farm in Medford on September 9th. Moving further into September, we have Stetson Heat Seeker coming to Local 31 in Ashland on September 25th. Let's hear them.
No bets on it. All my friends said it's not coming.
These guys do like their feedback, but man, I'm sorry about the bleeps there, but we do have to keep an FCC license here.
Yeah, that's all right. But the thing is that's in there because this is just sort of like lo-fi, raw, sort of just garage rock, just in it for the funds. Like there's the Economist, the magazine, once wrote that the spirit of America was best summed up by a quote from the movie Dumb and Dumber, in which one character says, "So you're saying there's only a 1 in a million chance?" And the other character says, "More like 1 in a billion." And the response is, "So you're saying there is a chance?" That optimism, that willingness. And I feel, just saying, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And kind of like the foundation of rock and roll was always that it was like, you didn't have to be fancy to do it. It was just more about putting your back into it. Anyone could do it. Anyone could do it as long as you gave it a solid effort, and that the heart was what really mattered. And I hear that so much with this band. They're kind of part of a broader resurgence of lo-fi and garage rock, and just people are just like that, are making a loud noise for the heck of it. But I love the total lack of pretension, that it's just, going in and saying, we're going to do something loud. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be conform to the FCC guidelines. It doesn't have to be progressive. It doesn't have to have any sort of complex layers or anything like that. We're just going to go out and make some good, loud rock and roll, kick in your teeth, fun music,
Yeah,
and I love that. I think it's great.
All right, so that's Stetson Heatseeker, Local 31 in Ashland, September 25th. And we finish up in October with Sam Chase and the Untraditional coming to the Dip in Reading, October 4th. Let's hear them.
What's this sensation that's making its way into the station? Could it be that motivation that I keep hearing so much about? All this commotion from this runaway locomotion. I try to focus in, but instead I'm tuning out to the sound coming out of this old-time radio. A dying sound our future children may never know. Now we know where to begin. Sometimes the hardest part of starting out is jumping in, but the morning always comes after a night that always came. So get up, oh, and get out. Welcome today.
Well, they had me at the piano, and then they brought in the organ, and I just fell in love.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. So Sam Chase and the Untraditional are going to be at the Dip in Reading on October 4th. They're also going to be at the Talent Club in Talent on the 5th. I forgot to send that information over to you.
Okay, thanks.
So as you can hear, obviously, just sort of folk Americana-based, singer-songwriter stuff, but with some really thoughtful, engaging lyrics and really fascinating arrangements, not just sort of simple verse chorus, but really sort of stuff that just sort of takes you on a journey, both lyrically and melodically. And it's not the kind of fever dream of something like Marty O'Reilly or King Dream, but more like the sort of thoughtful version of it. Like if you were to sit down and pen an op-ed for the the local paper or something, I feel like these are the songs that might come out of it. And he has just covered some really interesting topics just about sort of modern life and it's real easy to get lost in these songs in a literary sense, which is something I'm personally really into.
It's some great stuff, and thanks for the whole list. We'll put it up on the website at jeffexchange.org. Josh Gross, thanks for another edition of Rogue Sounds.
Always glad to be here, Jeffrey.